Welcome to the last episode of the Fall Essentials series. Today we're looking at waterproof shoes. What is good, everybody? Hope you're doing well. As I mentioned in the intro, today we're looking at waterproof shoes, right? I think waterproof shoes are really important, especially in the rainy, snowy sort of months, which we're definitely in right now. And they, at least here in Munich, they will last until like March. Usually like January, February are pretty disgusting. So a waterproof shoe is a must. I originally wanted to show you 5 different models that I have, but unfortunately I currently only have 4 because I have been waiting for the SALOMON and Enthält shoe forever, right? As I'm recording this video, I don't have them yet, unfortunately. They were supposed to be delivered by the end of October. Now it's like beginning of November, so I guess we're a bit late. But yeah, didn't want to wait with the video, so I'll show you 4 shoes and then I'll do a separate video on the Enthält and SALOMON because I think this is a super interesting model, especially like comparing it with Bomber 2, which they're pretty similar in my opinion. But anyway, today we're looking at which one should we start with. Maybe, since I mentioned it already, the Bomber 2 Gore-Tex version, right? Waterproof shoe. I know that the other Bomber 2 models are everything but waterproof, not even water resistant really, but the Gore-Tex one hasn't let me down yet. And yeah, you really feel protected, right? Because this membrane here is pretty, sturdy. As you see, like they hold up nicely, like no. And I wear them quite a lot. Actually, most of the time when it rains, I wear this one because it looks the best in my opinion. And yeah, beautiful waterproof zip. You've probably watched my review, so I won't talk about it too much. But my favorite silhouette is the Bomber 2 High. And yeah, beautiful iteration. They come out with the Gore-Tex version every fall, winter. Right, slight changes in terms of color. Sometimes a bit darker gray, sometimes a bit lighter gray. And then there's also a pure white version, I think. So your option, and also maybe a blue one. I think that might be Gore-Tex as well, I'm not sure. But yeah, you see the Gore-Tex logo here. Look for that definitely to be sure that it's Gore-Tex. And yeah, I mean, Gore-Tex is so reliable. Everything that I have from Gore-Tex like has never failed, like 0 times. And I take its stuff to the mountains and stuff. Not those obviously, but like jackets. So yeah, pretty happy with those. I wouldn't double up. I think like 1 pair is enough, but yeah, if you have a chance of getting those, maybe even like if they're too expensive for you, like look for them on sale, maybe end of this season. Can happen, I've seen that before with Bomber 2s. But yeah, that's my first pair. Moving on to the second shoe for today. Again, Gore-Tex, right? This is, I don't even know what the model is called. I bought those on sale like 2 years ago. And I kind of like the idea that the fabric looks kind of fragile, right? It's like a knitted upper, but then it has a Gore-Tex membrane underneath. And to be honest, I don't wear them too often because this is, by the way, you can zip it up here and then have the lacing system underneath. And then you tighten it down. And then there's like a magnet here. So kind of a cool design. And obviously the boot sole is super soft, so pretty comfortable shoe as well. But what I don't like about them is like you can hear, I don't know if you can hear that on camera, but you can hear the Gore-Tex membrane and it sounds like a plastic bag when you walk. And I didn't notice in the beginning, but like after a while I noticed, and yeah, it's uncomfortable. It feels like you have like 2 plastic bags on your shoes. So that's why I don't wear them too often, even though like when it rains and I want something like quick to throw on, I'll wear those. So I definitely wouldn't recommend buying them like full price, like that's too expensive. I know Gore-Tex is a super expensive material, but I think there are better options out there for the price. But the design is beautiful also, like the seam taping here or the overlay. There's no seam underneath. And yeah, subtle Gore-Tex branding. I'm not too keen of the branding elements here. but you know, that's Adidas, I guess. But yeah, other than that, like pretty cool, like timeless silhouette. I think I can wear them forever. Wouldn't recommend them for running, obviously, but still a very comfortable sock-like shoe that still protects you from the rain, even though it doesn't look like it. And that's kind of the cool thing, that like why I bought those, because they really didn't look like you could walk in water, but you can. So yeah, this is shoe number 2. So for the next shoe, we have to go to the studio because it's not here. It's a shoe that I've reviewed before, one of the first videos on this channel, but I quickly want to show them to you. So we're in the studio. The next waterproof shoe is the Nike and Tom Sachs Mars Yard overshoe. One of my favorites, Dyneema. I did a review on this. Beautiful shoe. It's more of an art piece rather than a shoe, for me at least, right, which is why I don't wear them too often, and obviously they're pretty loud and huge, so yeah. But it's a beautiful shoe, and I always thought of, like, you know, when like people cut the Dyneema off to reveal like the proper Mars Yard shoe underneath. I don't know, I'm tempted to do it, to be honest, but it's such a waste of awesome material and awesome look. Obviously those were designed or inspired by the original moon shoes, right? They were like worn on the moon actually. So yeah, pretty cool shoe. Solid outsole, has like rubber all over. You're definitely not gonna get wet. And I read an interview with Tom Sachs, and he said in March he's wearing those all day long, every day, because March obviously like all the snow is melting, right? So it's gonna get gross and wet and everything. So those are pretty cool. And I've seen, like, I always like check on Instagram on the hashtag like Mars Yard Overshoe or whatever, because I want to know like how people wear them. And there's so many creative ways of wearing this. It's like you can roll this over, cut everything, just cut parts of it. And then they look pretty cool when they're beaten up as well, right? So it's such an artistic shoe. Like, to me, obviously this is a masterpiece in my opinion, but it's still kind of like a white canvas, right? So when you, the consumer, you buy it, you can sort of like become the artist. Like, it sounds too romantic, but that's how I see it, right? When you see all those pictures like of how creative you can get, and you, wow. So this really makes me want to buy a second pair, so I can have like one pair rocking like this, and then one pair like to cut off stuff. Unfortunately, they're kind of expensive, so I probably won't do that. But yeah, pretty amazing shoe. I think those don't get enough credit. The regular Mars Yard shoe, which is to me like kind of a regular Nike release, to be honest. I don't think they're worth like 2K or whatever they're asking. Right, so this is basically, I'm talking about this shoe here. Well, that shoe is a masterpiece for me, right? I'm not gonna go into detail with all like the magnetic fit lock buckles and all that stuff, because I did a separate video on that. But yeah, that's the next shoe. So that was the Tom Sachs Mars Yard Overshoe, which was shoe number 3. And then moving on to the last shoe, which is the Gator boot from Nike and GYAKUSOU, right? On a collab. Pretty cool design. This also comes in black. I have to tell you, like, this is not a waterproof shoe, even though it looks like the waterproofest shoe of all of them, but it's more like water resistant, I would say. Like, the materials are, but the seams sometimes let water in, right? As you see, I've worn them once, yes, because they're kind of like complicated to put on. And I mean, they look a bit too futuristic for my taste. So, but the idea is pretty cool, right? So how you close them is like you have this loop up front, right? That wraps basically around the front of your foot, and then you have a waterproof zip that zips around and in the front. Then you have, when you have it open it up, this is basically how you get in. And then when you look at the tongue ends basically here. right? Usually tongue goes into like here, because that basically, that layer here becomes the tongue. So it's a pretty comfortable shoe. And then there's like a tightening system here in the back where you can push here and then tighten basically. So pretty cool design, pretty unique. I think I prefer the black version, but I bought those like 2 years ago and like because this is an older model, I'm not sure what year it is from, but yeah, the black one was really hard to get or impossible to get. So I found a good deal with those. I mean, it's a cool shoe. I love like how the top view basically, right, with the diagonal zip here. And I'm a sucker for waterproof zips. I think it looks so cool. And yeah, kind of a chunky shoe, but honestly, it looks more technical and functional than it is in my opinion. So guys, those were the 4 shoes that I have currently. As I said before, the 5th shoe is coming, hopefully, and I'll do a review of it soon. Let me know down in the comments, what's your favorite waterproof shoe? Do you have a waterproof shoe? Do you think it's necessary? Or do you think, yeah, I have eyes in my head, I know where to go. I'm not walking into like water or whatever. Some people are like that. They think like, okay, I'm in my car all day, or I rarely get outside, or I don't know. Anybody has a reason, I guess, but not everybody has a waterproof shoe. Right? No, you don't need 4 or 5 of them, right? But I'm getting rid of this one, right? It's on my grill. If you are interested, I'll make you a good deal. But yeah, those are my choices for this fall winter. I think for me, it's definitely a fall essential to have waterproof shoes when you have to get outside. I hate wet feet, like I really hate that. So I'd rather wear even like a plastic bag around my socks rather than have wet socks. Obviously, breathability is always a big topic when it comes to waterproof shoes. I think those are not the most breathable. Probably the Gore-Tex membrane that they use is not the best. I don't know. Those are pretty breathable, even though they're quite thick, right? And have like multiple layers and stuff. So when you open those up, you have this huge chunky tongue underneath. But it's obviously mesh. But still, like it's a lot of layers. But yeah, breathability is pretty good in my opinion. Obviously not like in a running shoe, but for a lifestyle shoe, it's perfect. And yes, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. That was the last video of the Fall Essentials series. Let me know down in the comments if that's something I should do for spring maybe as well. If that makes even any sense, or summer or whatever. And yes, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.